Jake Morrison walked into the giant crystal building on Nexus Prime. His hands were shaking a little, but he tried to hide it. He had been Earth's main speaker to the aliens for 12 years now. 12 long years of watching other species take everything humans worked hard to make. The meeting room was huge. It looked like the inside of a diamond, with walls that sparkled and threw rainbow colors everywhere. Jake felt very small as he walked to his seat. Round the circle sat creatures from 40 different worlds. Some looked like giant snakes. Others were made of gas that floated in clear boxes. Some were like walking crystals that made musical sounds when they moved. Jake sat down in the only chair made for humans. It was smaller than all the others. That was not an accident. The Galactic Council wanted humans to remember they were the newest members, the weakest members, the members who should be grateful for any scraps thrown their way. The Zenthari spoke first. It was a creature that looked like a giant snake with arms. Its skin was covered in green scales that moved when it talked. The Council has made a decision about human consciousness technology, it said through a machine that turned its hissing sounds into words humans could understand. Jake felt his heart sink. He knew what was coming. It was the same thing that happened every few months. The aliens would demand that humans give up another invention, another discovery, another piece of the technology that made Earth special. This consciousness transfer technology is too dangerous for humans to control, the Zenthari continued. Your species is too young, too reckless. You might hurt yourselves, or others, if you keep this technology. Jake wanted to laugh, but he was too angry. Humans had invented the technology to help people with brain injuries. They had spent 10 years making it safe. They had tested it thousands of times. But now the aliens wanted to take it away, just like they had taken everything else. What do you mean by too dangerous? Jake asked, even though he already knew the answer. A creature made of blue gas, floating in a clear container, answered. Humans are known for making quick decisions without thinking. This technology could be used as a weapon. The Council believes it would be safer if the Zenthari controlled it. Jake looked around the room. Every alien creature was nodding, even the ones who usually stayed quiet during meetings. They had all agreed to steal human technology again. Jake remembered the first time this happened. It was 8 years ago. The aliens had said they needed human fusion power technology to help poor worlds get clean energy. Jake had been so proud. He thought humans were finally being accepted as equal partners in the galaxy. But the humans never saw any of the money. From selling that technology, the Zenthari took it all and sold fusion power plants to other worlds for huge profits. When Jake complained, they said humans were too inexperienced in business to handle such deals. Then came the food technology. Humans had learned how to grow crops in space and on dead planets. The aliens said this was too important to leave to one species. They took that technology too. Again, humans got nothing, while other species made billions selling human invented. Food systems next was the medical technology. Humans had cured 15 diseases that killed people on alien worlds. The Council said medical knowledge belonged to everyone. They took that too. Each time Jake had believed their promises. Each time he thought things would be different. Each time he was wrong. Now they wanted the consciousness technology. Jake knew what would happen. The Zenthari would take it, improve it with stolen human ideas, and sell it across the galaxy. Humans would get a small thank you, and nothing else. Council has decided, the snake creature continued. Human consciousness technology will be transferred to Zenthari control within 30 days. We'll receive standard compensation for this contribution to galactic peace. Standard compensation meant almost nothing. Maybe enough money to buy food for a few cities for a few months. Meanwhile, the technology would make the Zenthari trillions of credits over the next century. Jake felt something break inside his chest. 12 years of being polite. 12 years of believing these creatures were his friends. 12 years of watching them steal everything humans had worked to create. He thought about Dr. Lisa Carter back on Earth. She had spent her whole life working on consciousness technology. She had warned Jake this would happen. They are not our partners, she had said. They are thieves who smile while they rob us. Jake had not believed her then. He thought she was being too suspicious, too angry. But now he knew she was right. The Zenthari was still talking about how humans should be grateful for the chance to contribute to galactic peace. Other aliens were making agreeing sounds with their various mouths, tentacles, and breathing holes. Jake stood up slowly. The talking stopped. Every alien eye sensor, and whatever they used to see, turned toward him. "I have something to say," Jake announced. The Zenthari made an annoyed hissing sound. "Human Morrison, the decision has been made. There is nothing to discuss." Jake reached into his pocket and pulled out a small communication device. It was connected directly to Dr. Lisa Carter on Earth. He pressed a button and spoke clearly. "Lisa, start Protocol Omega. Do it now." The room went completely silent. Even the crystalline creatures stopped making their musical sounds. Jake looked around the room at all the alien faces staring at him. Some looked confused. Others looked angry. A few looked worried, though Jake was not sure how he could tell. With creatures so different from humans? "What is Protocol Omega?" Zenthari demanded. Jake smiled for the first time in months. "You will find out soon enough." He walked toward the door of the crystal chamber. Behind him, aliens were starting to make worried noises. The Zenthari was shouting questions. Other creatures were talking rapidly in their own languages. Jake kept walking. The door he turned around one last time. The United Earth government officially leaves the Galactic Council. We quit. This is our final message to all of you. The chamber exploded in noise. Aliens were shouting, hissing, singing, and making whatever sounds meant anger in their species. The Zenthari was screaming about trade agreements and military action. Jake walked out of the crystal building and toward his ship, did not look back. Behind him, the aliens were probably trying to figure out what humans were planning. They would learn soon enough. As Jake's ship lifted off from Nexus Prime, he felt free for the first time in 12 years. No more begging, no more being grateful for scraps, no more pretending that creatures who stole from humans were their friends. Earth was about to show the galaxy what humans could really do when they stopped asking for permission. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the UES Independence and looked at the biggest space fleet that humans had ever built. 743 ships floated around Earth like a metal cloud. Some ships were huge, as big as cities. Others were smaller and faster, built for fighting. All of them were ready to leave Earth forever. Kate had been planning this day for 2 years. While Jake Morrison smiled and talked nicely to the aliens at their meetings, Kate and her team had been working in secret. They built ships in hidden places where alien sensors could not see them. They made new weapons and engines that were better than anything the Galactic Council had ever seen. "Admiral, all ships are ready to go," said Captain Ryan Brooks. He was sitting at a control station covered with glowing buttons and screens. "The civilian ships have all the people on board. The factory ships have all our machines and tools. The military ships are ready to protect everyone." Kate nodded. She looked at the big screen that showed all their ships. It was hard to believe. They had built so many without the aliens knowing, but humans were good at keeping secrets when they needed to. "How many people are we taking?" Kate asked. 12 million people from Earth, another 8 million from the Mars colonies and the space stations. Plus all the people from the asteroid mining bases, Ryan answered. "Everyone who wanted to come is coming with us." Kate felt proud and sad at the same time. 20 million humans were leaving their home system forever. They were giving up the planet where humanity was born. They were also starting fresh. Away from aliens who treated them like children, the communication system made a beeping sound. Dr. Lisa Carter's voice came through the speakers from her science ship. "Admiral, I have the final numbers on our destination. The Andromeda Spiral Arm is perfect for us. No alien species have colonies there. No Galactic Council ships patrol that area. You will be completely alone." "How long will it take to get there?" Kate asked. 72 hours at our best speed." "But Admiral, I need to tell you something else. We're already getting emergency messages. From all over the galaxy, the alien stock markets are crashing. Trade routes are shutting down. Some worlds are reporting supply shortages." Kate smiled a little. The aliens had never realized how much they depended on humans. Human ships carried cargo between alien worlds. Human computers managed trade networks. Human engineers fixed broken machines on alien planets. Without humans, the galactic economy was falling apart. "Let them panic," Kate said. "Ryan, send the signal to all ships. We are leaving now." Ryan pressed several buttons on his control panel. All across the fleet, ship captains got the same message. Engines that had been quietly humming suddenly roared to life. The huge fleet began to move away from Earth. Kate watched through the big windows as Earth got smaller behind them. The blue and green planet looked peaceful and beautiful. It was hard to believe they might never see it again. "Admiral, we are getting communication requests from alien ships," Ryan reported. 3 Xanthari vessels are trying to contact us. The ethereal trade station is also sending messages. "Ignore them all," Kate ordered. "We have nothing more to say to any aliens." As the human fleet moved toward the edge of the solar system, Kate thought about all the things that had led to this moment. Humans had tried so hard to be good members of the Galactic Council. They had shared their technology. They had followed alien rules. They had been polite and patient even when aliens treated them badly. But it was never enough. The aliens always wanted more. They took human inventions and sold them for huge profits. They made rules that only hurt humans. They acted like humans. "We're lucky to be allowed in their galaxy." "Admiral, incoming priority message from Earth Command," Ryan announced. Kate pressed a button to hear the message. General Bob Martinez's voice filled the bridge. "Kate, the alien response is even worse than we expected. The Xanthari are demanding we return immediately. They are threatening military action. The Ethereals are offering to negotiate. Several other species are asking what they did wrong." Kate laughed. "What they did wrong? They treated us like servants for 30 years. Tell them it's too late for apologies." The fleet moved past Mars, where empty human colonies sat dark and abandoned. They had moved everyone and everything important. The aliens could have the empty buildings if they wanted them. "Admiral, sensors are detecting alien ships moving toward our position," Captain Ryan said, sounding worried. "Looks like a Xanthari battle group. 12 ships total." Kate felt her heart beat faster, but she kept her voice calm. "Are they in weapons range?" "Not yet, but they will be in about an hour." Kate looked at the screen showing their own military ships. Humans had built them using technology the aliens had never seen. The ships were faster and stronger than anything in the Galactic Council fleet. "Signal our escort ships," Kate ordered. "If the aliens try to stop us, they will learn what human military technology can really do." Dr. Lisa Carter's voice came through the speakers again. "Admiral, I am reading massive energy spikes from the alien ships. They are charging their weapons." Kate felt angry. Even now, even when humans were just trying to leave peacefully, the aliens wanted to control them. They could not let humans go without a fight. "All ships, battle stations," Kate announced. Her voice was broadcast to every human ship in the fleet. "The aliens want to force us to stay. Show them why that is a bad idea." Around the fleet, human warships moved into protective positions. Their weapon systems came online, their shields activated. If the aliens wanted a fight, they would get one. But Kate hoped it would not come to that. She just wanted to take her people somewhere safe, somewhere they could build their own civilization without alien interference. The Xanthari ships were getting closer. In a few minutes, Kate would find out if humanity's exodus would be peaceful, or if they would have to fight their way to freedom. Either way, there was no turning back now. Council Prime Minister Zethric walked back and forth across the emergency meeting room. His green scales were turning darker, which happened when Xanthari got very worried. All around him, alien representatives were talking loudly and making panic sounds in their different languages. 3 days had passed since the humans left. 3 days since Jake Morrison had walked out of their meeting. 3 days since Admiral Kate Sullivan had taken the biggest fleet anyone had ever seen and disappeared into deep space. At first, Zethric had been angry but not worried. Humans were just one species out of hundreds in the galaxy. How much trouble could they really cause by leaving? Now he knew the answer. A lot of trouble. "Report," Zethric demanded, pointing at the ethereal representative. The blue gas creature was floating in its clear container, but its usual calm glow was flickering like a broken light. The Outer Rim trade networks have completely stopped working, the ethereal said through its translation machine. Human cargo ships were carrying goods between 67% of all star systems. Without them, planets cannot get food, medicine, or basic supplies. Sethric felt his stomach twist. He had not realized how many human ships were flying around the galaxy, carrying things from one world to another. When humans were part of the council, it seemed normal, now that they were gone. The empty space routes were obvious. The crystalline Shardian delegate made musical sounds that meant extreme distress. Our factory worlds have stopped working, the translation came through. Human computer programs controlled our manufacturing systems. Without those programs, we can only make 15% of what we used to make. What about the backup systems? Sethric asked. There are no backup systems. We relied completely on human technology because it was so much better than ours. Sethric wanted to scream. How had they become so dependent on humans without realizing it? The humans had always seemed so eager to help, so willing to share their inventions. No one had thought about what would happen if they stopped helping. The worst news came from the Aquatic Collective Representative, a fish-like creature that spoke through water bubbles. We have lost contact with over 400 worlds. The communication network that connected most of the galaxy was built and maintained by humans. Without their technicians, the network is falling apart. 400 worlds, Sethric repeated. How is that possible? Human communication technology was 50 years ahead of everyone else's. We all switched to their systems because they worked so much better. Now those systems are shutting down one by one, and no one knows how to fix them. Sethric sat down heavily in his chair. The Galactic Council controlled over 2,000 worlds. If they lost contact with 400 of them, the government could not function. Worlds might start making their own decisions. Some might even fight each other. What about our military response? Sethric asked Admiral Korath, the Draconian fleet commander. Draconians looked like giant lizards that walked on two legs. They were proud warriors who had never lost a battle. Admiral Korath looked uncomfortable. For a Draconian to look uncomfortable meant something was very wrong. We lost their trail completely, Korath admitted. Human ships have stealth technology that is far beyond anything in our databases. Our best sensors cannot track them. Could be anywhere in the galaxy, or they might have left the galaxy entirely. How is that possible? Humans were the newest members of the Council. They should have the least advanced technology. That is what we thought, Korath said quietly. But now we realize humans were not sharing their best technology with us. They were keeping their most advanced inventions secret. Dr. Vex, the Zenthuri's chief scientist, rushed into the meeting room carrying data tablets in his clawed hands. His scales were pale with fear. Prime Minister, I have finished analyzing human contributions to our civilization, Dr. Vex said, his voice shaking. The results are much worse than we thought. How much worse? Without human involvement, our entire galactic civilization will collapse within 6 months. Food distribution, medical supplies, communication networks, transportation systems, manufacturing processes. Humans were involved in all of it. They were not just members of our council. They were the foundation that everything else was built. Sethric stared at the data tablet Dr. Vex handed him. Numbers and charts showed the horrible truth. Humans had quietly become essential to galactic civilization. While the council had been busy stealing human inventions and treating humans like junior partners, humans had been building the systems that kept everything working. There is more, Dr. Vex continued. Many worlds are reporting food shortages because human agricultural systems are shutting down. Medical centers cannot treat patients because human-designed equipment is breaking down. Even basic things like waste management and power generation used human technology. Around the meeting room, alien representatives were getting emergency messages from their homeworlds. The news was getting worse by the hour. Some planets were already experiencing riots as people realized their comfortable lives had depended on the humans they had dismissed as primitive. What do they want? Asked desperately. The humans must want something. They would not just leave forever. We have sent dozens of messages to their last known position, Admiral Korath reported. No response. We have offered negotiations, apologies, even full membership rights. Nothing. There must be something they want, Zethric insisted. Dr. Vex looked at his data again. Prime Minister, I do not think they want anything from us. Our analysis of their fleet suggests they took everything they needed when they left. Manufacturing ships, research vessels, civilian transports, they built a complete civilization and took it with them. What does that mean? It means they do not need us at all. We need them desperately. The meeting room fell silent except for the sound of various aliens breathing, bubbling, or making whatever sounds they used to stay alive. Everyone was starting to understand the horrible truth. For 30 years, the Galactic Council had treated humans like children who needed guidance. They had stolen human technology and justified it by saying humans were too young and inexperienced to handle advanced science. They had made humans beg for scraps while other species got rich from human inventions. But the whole time, humans had been the most advanced species in the galaxy. They had been quietly building the systems that held galactic civilization together. And now, they were gone. Zethric realized with growing terror that humanity had not just left the galaxy in panic, they had left the galaxy in collapse. And somewhere, in the vast dark between the stars, humans were building something new, something the Galactic Council would never be part of. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood at the giant window of Harmony Station and looked out at what humans had built in just 2 years. The view still amazed her every time she saw it. Dozens of space stations floated in the darkness, connected by streams of light from ships moving between them. Construction robots worked day and night building new habitats. In the distance, she could see the early framework of New Terra, their first new planet. The monthly progress report is ready, said Dr. Lisa Carter as she walked into the observation room. Lisa looked different now. The stress lines around her eyes were gone. She smiled more often. Freedom from the Galactic Council had been good for her. How are we doing? Kate asked. Better than our wildest dreams, Lisa replied with excitement in her voice. Without council restrictions on our research, we have made breakthrough after breakthrough. Our technology development has moved faster in 2 years than it did in the previous 20 years. Kate turned away from the window to look at Lisa. What kind of breakthroughs? Enhanced fusion drives that are 3 times more powerful than anything we had before. Artificial intelligence that can interface directly with human consciousness. We are even working on technology that could fold space itself, making travel across the galaxy instant. Kate shook her head in wonder. All of this because we stopped following their rules. Exactly. The Council always said our research was too dangerous or too advanced for us to handle. They made us go slow, made us ask permission for every experiment. Now we realize they were holding us back on purpose. Captain Ryan Brooks entered the room, carrying a data pad. He looked happy too. Like everyone else, leaving the galaxy had lifted a weight from his shoulders that he had not even realized was there. Admiral, our deep space monitoring stations are picking up interesting signals from our old neighborhood, Ryan said. What kind of signals? The Galactic Council is falling apart. 3 major species have left the Council completely. They are blaming each other for the economic collapse. Zenthari and the Draconians are actually fighting a war now over who gets to control the remaining trade routes. Lisa laughed. It was a sound Kate had rarely heard during their years under Council control. Let me guess. They are also sending us messages begging for help. Lots of messages, Ryan confirmed. They keep promising us equal representation and fair resource sharing. The same lies they told us for 30 years. Kate walked back to the window. Outside, human workers were installing new equipment on one of their manufacturing stations. These workers were not afraid of experimenting with new ideas. They were not waiting for alien approval before trying something innovative. Any word? From our exploration fleets? Kate asked. Even better news, Lisa said, her voice full of excitement. Commander Steve Parker's deep space team found 3 star systems that are perfect for terraforming. No native life, good planets, plenty of resources. We can build new worlds exactly the way we want them. That is wonderful news. What else did they find? Something amazing. Ruins of an ancient civilization that was even more advanced than we are now. The preliminary analysis shows they were also refugees who fled from some kind of galactic government. Kate raised her eyebrows. So we are not the first species to say enough is enough. Apparently not. And Admiral, the technology we are finding in those ruins is incredible. They achieved complete independence from galactic politics. Not just military independence, but technological and economic independence too. Kate smiled as she watched a new transport ship dock with their station. The ship was sleek and powerful, built with human engineering that had no alien restrictions. It was faster and stronger than anything the Council had ever seen. Then we will do even better than they did, Kate said firmly. We will build a civilization so advanced that we will never need to depend on anyone else again. Through the communication system, they could hear another desperate message from the Galactic Council. Kate did not bother to listen to the details. She had heard enough alien promises to last several lifetimes. How many people do we have now? Kate asked. 22 million, Ryan answered. The birth rate has increased since we left. Hey, people feel hopeful about the future again. They want to have children in a world where humans control their own destiny. And our military strength. Growing every day, our new ships use technology the Council has never seen. If they ever find us and try to force us to return, they will get a very unpleasant surprise. Dr. Lisa walked over to join Kate at the window. Together they watched human engineers working on the next phase of their expansion. Do you ever miss Earth? Lisa asked. Kate thought about it. I miss the planet itself, yet the blue oceans and green forests. But I do not miss being treated like children by creatures who were stealing our lunch money. The exploration teams say New Terra will be even more beautiful than Earth when we finish terraforming it. Without any aliens telling us how we are allowed to live on it, Kate added. The communication system activated again with another transmission from the old galaxy. This time it was not from the Council. It was from individual planets asking for human help with their failing systems. Should we respond to any of these? Ryan asked. Kate watched a group of human children playing in the park area of their station. These children would grow up as free humans, not as junior members of some alien club. They would never have to ask permission to pursue their dreams. Not yet, Kate decided. Let them figure out how badly they need us. When they are ready to treat us as true equals, we might consider talking to them, and if they never learn, 8. Smiled as she watched humanity building its future among the stars. Then we keep building our own civilization. We have everything we need right here. Outside the window? Another construction project was beginning. Soon, they would have their first complete city in space, built entirely by human hands and human minds. It would be the first of many. The aliens could keep their old broken galaxy. Humanity was building something better. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the UES Ascendant and could barely believe how much humanity had changed in 5 years. The ship around her was like nothing that had ever existed before. It could phase in and out of normal space, travel faster than light in ways that broke the old rules of physics, and carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Through the windows, she could see 300 ships just like hers. The United Human Federation fleet was returning to their old galaxy, but they were not the same species that had left 5 years ago. All ships report ready for the demonstration, announced Fleet Captain Ryan Brooks. He wore the new uniform of the Federation, with symbols that no alien had ever seen. The advanced scouts confirmed that the galaxy is exactly as bad as our long-range sensors showed. Kate nodded. For months, their hidden monitoring stations had been watching the chaos. In their old home, the Galactic Council was completely gone. Former member species were fighting wars over the scraps of what used to be a galactic civilization. Billions of people were suffering because the systems humans had built were falling apart. Any response to our diplomatic message? Kate asked. 17 different groups have replied, Ryan said, trying not to laugh. Everyone from the surviving Zenthari government to individual planets that broke away from their old empires. They are all begging us to come back and fix everything. In our terms, complete independence for all human operations, exclusive rights to any technology we choose to share, recognition of the United Human Federation as an equal sovereign power, and most importantly, No alien interference in our internal affairs ever again. Kate looked at the tactical display showing their position just outside the Sol system. Earth was still there, still blue and beautiful. But now it was protected by automated defense systems that could destroy any alien fleet that tried to approach. Dr. Carter, status on the wormhole generator. Dr. Lisa Carter's voice came from the science station with barely controlled excitement. The dimensional fold generator is ready for activation. One button press will create a permanent wormhole between here and our new territories. It will prove to the aliens that we have technology they cannot even understand. And if they refuse our terms, then we go home to our new worlds and leave them to solve their own problems, Kate said firmly. We do not need them anymore. The question is whether they need us enough to treat us with respect. The communication array suddenly came to life. A holographic display showed a desperate gathering of alien representatives. Kate recognized some faces from her years as a junior human representative. The Zenthari looked thinner and more desperate. The Ethereals were flickering weakly in their containers. Even the proud Draconians looked defeated. The transmission began with words Kate had waited 5 years to hear. United Human Federation. We formally request your assistance in establishing a new galactic order based on equality and mutual respect. Kate almost smiled. 5 years ago, these same aliens had been stealing human technology and treating humans like children. Now they were begging for help and promising equality. Admiral, should we respond? Ryan asked. Not yet. First, let us show them what humanity became when we stopped asking for their permission. Kate activated the ship's communication system. To address her entire fleet, all ships, begin the demonstration. Let them see what we built while they were fighting over the ruins of their civilization. The UES Ascendant moved forward, and reality seemed to bend around its hull. Space itself twisted as the ship demonstrated technology that made the old rules of physics look like children's toys. The ship moved through dimensions that aliens did not know existed, traveling distances in seconds that used to take hours. Behind the Ascendant, the rest of the human fleet followed. Each ship was a masterpiece of engineering that combined human creativity with technology recovered from ancient ruins. They moved like dancers through space, their formations perfect, their power obvious. Admiral, we are receiving emergency transmissions from across the galaxy, Ryan reported. Alien sensor stations are detecting our ships and panicking. They have never seen anything move like this. Good. Let them understand that the humans who left 5 years ago are not the same humans who are returning today. The fleet moved toward Earth, and Kate could see the planet growing larger in the windows. Home. It looked exactly the same, but everything else had changed. The humans approaching Earth now were not refugees or junior partners. They were the most advanced civilization the galaxy had ever seen. Dr. Carter, activate the wormhole generator. Activating now, Lisa replied. Space began to ripple and fold in ways that hurt to look at. A tunnel of twisted light opened between their current position and the Andromeda spiral arm where their new worlds waited. Through the tunnel, alien sensors could detect the massive civilization humans had built in just 5 years. The alien transmission came through again, this time with even more desperation. Please, we know we made mistakes in the past. We are willing to discuss any terms you require. Kate finally activated her reply transmitter. Her image would be broadcast to every remaining government in the galaxy. This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the United Human Federation. 5 years ago, you treated us as inferior beings who should be grateful for your scraps. You stole our technology, ignored our contributions, and demanded we follow your rules. She paused, letting her words sink in. We are not those humans anymore. We've built a civilization that surpasses anything your galaxy has ever achieved. We have technology you cannot imagine, and worlds you will never see. The aliens on the transmission looked terrified. They were finally realizing what they had lost when they drove humanity away. However, Kate continued, we remember that there were good people among you who suffered because of your leader's choices. We are willing to discuss a new relationship, but it will be on our terms. Humanity will never again be anyone's junior partner. Kate ended the transmission and looked out at Earth. The planet that had given birth to humanity was about to witness its children return as the galaxy's new leaders, Admiral. Incoming responses from 47 different governments, Ryan reported. They are all accepting our terms and requesting immediate negotiations. Kate smiled. Humanity had left the galaxy as refugees and returned as its saviors. But this time, they would be partners by choice, not necessity. This time, humanity would never again have to ask permission to reach for the stars. The age of human galactic leadership had begun.